Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys trade pitch moves Dak Prescott to Steelers for 3 first-rounders. The Dallas Cowboys have done what they've needed to do during the offseason, but some still don't believe they have a chance to win a Super Bowl. If the Cowboys want to move on from some of their top players, which wouldn't make much sense after their latest move to trade for George Pickens of the Pittsburgh Steelers, perhaps somebody like Dak Prescott could be available. Prescott, one of the highest-paid quarterbacks in NFL history, would be loved by other teams around the league, including the Steelers. With the Pittsburgh Steelers hoping to get an answer from Aaron Rodgers in the next few weeks, it remains uncertain what they plan to do at the position if he doesn't sign with them. The Steelers have Mason Rudolph as their QB1, so there's no debating that the Dallas Cowboys star would be much better than what they currently have. The issue with that, however, is the price tag that comes along with Prescott, not only as a contract, but in a potential trade. The trade idea. In a proposed idea from Robert Mays of The Athletic, the Cowboys would send him to the Steelers for a deal that includes 3 first-round picks, a ridiculous price for any player in the NFL. Let's just say you can get under the financials, the Cowboys would trade Dak for the right price, Mays said. The Dak, Kyler, Murray range is probably where I land. I think it's the right answer. If you called the Cowboys right now, again, if they traded him after June 1st, in theory it would be possible. If you called the Cowboys right now like we'll give you 3 first-round picks for Dak, I think they would do it, Mays added. If the Dallas Cowboys could get 3 picks in return for Prescott, it wouldn't be out of the picture to suggest that they would think about moving on from him. Could this trade be realistic? Ultimately, it's very unlikely that the Pittsburgh Steelers would ever consider trading 3 first-round picks for any player, especially Prescott. Some have suggested that the Dallas Cowboys aren't as good as they could be because of Prescott. That includes Chris Sims, who believes that the Cowboys starter isn't near the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL and that there will be a spotlight on his play this season. I don't want to say he's holding them back, but he is the highest-paid player in football, and I would say he's not near the top 5 quarterback in football, so that's gotta match up a little bit better, right? Is he even a top 10 quarterback? I don't know about that either. So, his play, there'll be a spotlight on that, Sims said. For the Steelers, Prescott would be a better option than Rodgers, too, who's already 41 years old. If all they have to do is give Rodgers around $10 to $15 million, however, it'd be much easier to live with that not working out than trading for Prescott and having him not play the football that they're hoping for. Steelers will Howard speaks out on Aaron Rodgers. But it could also be better for Howard to learn for a year under the 4-time MVP. Howard seemed to recognize that when he addressed the possibility of the Steelers signing Rodgers while appearing on FanDuel TV's Up and Adams with Kay Adams. Idolizing, growing up, Howard said of Rodgers. I don't know what's gonna happen, who knows, that's all over my head, but I'd love to be in a room and learn from him. Again, who knows what's going to happen? I have no idea. That's above my head. The Steelers have been pursuing Rodgers almost since the start of NFL free agency on March 10. Pittsburgh has been rumored as the top destination for Rodgers for roughly the past 2 months. At the end of April, the Steelers added Howard at number 185 overall in the 6th round of the 2025 NFL Draft. Steelers will Howard says right things about Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers unintentionally placed their 6th-round quarterback in a bit of an awkward spot to begin his career. Every NFL rookie wants to play right away. It would be extremely shocking if Howard is any different. Signing Rodgers, though, would be a giant obstacle to Howard receiving any immediate playing time. Without Rodgers, the Steelers' rookie signal caller will enter off-season workouts second on the depth chart. If Pittsburgh signs the 4-time MVP, the former Ohio State quarterback drops to number 3 on the depth chart instantly. So, it would only be natural for Howard not to want Rodgers to come to Pittsburgh. but Howard has to answer questions with the expectation that Rodgers will eventually sign. Even if the Steelers don't sign Rodgers, other quarterbacks additions such as a Kirk Cousins trade and Carson Wentz signing are possibilities. Howard has navigated answering any kind of questions he's received in the first month of his Steelers tenure very well. Behind his strong interviews with the media, the rookie may even be becoming a fan favorite. Steelers expected to sign Rodgers after mandatory minicamp? Steelers Nation is excited about Howard's future. But national pundits argued during draft weekend that the Steelers must have assurance from Rodgers that he plans to eventually sign. Otherwise, those pundits said the team should have drafted a quarterback before Howard. Rodgers remains unsigned almost a month later. But Rodgers' biographer Ian O'Connor implied during an appearance on 93.7 The Fan on Sunday that the quarterback has made the organization aware of his 2025 plans. "I just think verbally, behind the scenes, not that he guaranteed it, but he's told the Steelers, listen, I'm gonna play for you. I just don't want to go there and then miss part of mandatory minicamp because of my personal issues," said O'Connor, via Steelers Depot's Ross McCorkle. Rodgers told ESPN's Pat McAfee on his show during an April 17 appearance that people in his inner circle are dealing with personal issues. Rodgers added that those issues have his attention this offseason. Mandatory minicamp starts on June 10 for the Steelers. One would think based on O'Connor's comments that Rodgers plans to sign after that. But the biographer then added Rodgers could sign by the end of May. The Steelers will begin voluntary off-season team activities on Tuesday, May 27. They will occur through June 5. Pittsburgh will have a more complete quarterback room with Rodgers signed. Howard also seems to believe it will only benefit his career in the long term. Analysts think Steelers will have losing season with Aaron Rodgers. The Pittsburgh Steelers continue to wait for an answer from free agent quarterback Aaron Rodgers on whether he'll sign with the team, but Fox Sports' Chris Broussard doesn't think Rodgers will be enough for the Steelers to have a good 2025 season. On First Things First on FS1, Broussard said he believes the Steelers will have a losing season and that it will come with Rodgers as their quarterback. "I love Mike Tomlin. I generally like the Steelers. I don't necessarily want this to be true, but I think this is going to be their first losing season under Mike Tomlin with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback." Broussard pointed to the fact that the Jets went 5-12 last season and the Packers went 8-9 in Rodgers' final year starting for them in 2022 as his rationale for why Rodgers and the Steelers will struggle. It's a valid concern to be worried about how much the 41-year-old quarterback has left in the tank, and in Pittsburgh, he'd be joining an offense that, on paper, isn't that much better than what he had with the Jets last season. Our latest videos, however, under Mike Tomlin, the Steelers have always found a way to win games, and their defense is usually strong enough to help them win a few games they shouldn't. Last season, the defense deteriorated down the stretch, and Pittsburgh's offense began to struggle simultaneously, leading to a disastrous final month that saw the team lose 5 straight games. Rodgers played his best football in the second half last season, and the Steelers seem to believe he'll be an upgrade over what they had at quarterback in 2024. It's not unfathomable to see the Steelers having a losing season, and in the long run, it's something that former Steelers' Ryan Clark thinks will benefit the team. Pittsburgh always seems to find a way, however, and the offense should be better than what the Steelers had last year if Rodgers does sign. If the defense plays the way it did for most of last season, the Steelers should compete for a playoff spot. It's far from a guarantee, however, and there's a chance that Aaron Rodgers could show his age, and a defense that isn't getting any younger resembles the unit that struggled to get to the quarterback and was rife with miscommunication issues down the stretch. The AFC North is still one of the league's most difficult divisions, and the Steelers very well could struggle to find their footing. I think it's more likely that they're once again in the playoff mix, but even with Rodgers, this is a team that will still have to fight to make it, and it wouldn't be shocking if things went off the rails.